You're always contrasting what you want to happen with what you think is happening. They're both models. And wherever there's a deviation, wherever what you want to happen isn't going on, then you feel anxiety. Curiosity as well. You're impelled to explore. But anxiety is the thing that comes up first. And the larger the magnitude of the unexpected occurrence, the greater the amount of anxiety. One of the things we're going to try to determine in the course is how you can understand how large a disruption a given unexpected event is. Because, let's go back to this other diagram for a second. Here's a way of looking at it. So let's say you're going somewhere, and you have 3 plans to get there. And this plan doesn't work, so that means it produces an outcome that isn't what you envision. And this plan doesn't work, it produces an anomalous outcome as well. But this plan does work, well, that's no problem. I mean, those are pretty minor league disruptions. All you do is you keep the same vision of yourself and the same vision of the future, you just switch between plans. But you're really in trouble if none of your plans work, or if someone messes around with your representation of this or this. So you can say, for example, you want to get into medical school, and you need 30 courses to get into medical school, and you should have A's on all of them, and you get a B+ on one course. Okay, well, you still have all these other courses. That's not such a big deal. It's a minor league disruption. It causes you a certain amount of anxiety and produces a certain amount of exploratory behavior. Perhaps you might go to the professor and say, why is it that I got this B+ when I was expecting an A? And don't you know what that's going to do to my vision of the ideal future? And so on and so forth. That's one sort of disruption. You're a bit anxious, but hey, you have 29 other courses. It's not such a big deal. Now, instead, you write the MCAT and you score in the 15th percentile. Well, now you're in trouble. Because you have a vision of yourself. You think this is your version of the unbearable present. You're not a doctor. That's a pain in the neck. But you're a potential doctor. You have the intellectual resources at your disposal, and the educational background, and the familial push, perhaps, to make you into a doctor. And so that's what you've conceived yourself as. That's your story about yourself, is you're this person with this set number of potentials. And you also have a vision of where it is that you're going. Well, the MCAT score comes back and you're in the 15th percentile. Well, your ideal future, it's gone. That's a big problem. Because that means that all of the events that have surrounded you, that surround you now, and as far back as you can remember, that were given determinate significance by this particular plan, have all been cast into chaos. Because everything that you've done up to that point has been predicated on the notion that this is where you were going, and that means that the significance that you attributed to everything was attributed to everything in relationship to that goal. You blow out the goal, and all those significances are back up in the air. You have to modify your version of yourself. It's like, what the hell are you going to do now? You're going to be a doctor. You put a lot of work into this, plus it's your whole self-conception. Well, this is gone. This is gone. I mean, this is irrelevant, right? I mean, the other 29 courses, why the hell are you even here now? So that's one example of the levels at which anomalies can occur. Minor league anomalies, no problem. You just scoot around them and you go to the same place. Major league anomalies, it's a new ideal future. Now, that's part of the reason that people are so prone to ideological conflicts. It's like, this is an ideology, you could say. It has a particular version of the way things are now. You look at communist ideology, it's pretty explicit. What's the unbearable present, so to speak? Well, I know this is a bit dated, but we're running out of hardline ideologies to poke fun at, so I have to use an old one. But the unbearable present is the class struggle, and we have reasons for that. It's basically the fault of the rich who are exploiting the poor. The ideal future is the point at which those unfair divisions of capital are eliminated, and there's a whole bunch of means to that end. That's an ideology. Well, someone else has a different ideology, a different version of the significance of current events, a different version of the significance and the nature of the ideal future, and a completely different apprehension of how to transform one to the other. When those two cultures come into contact, well, first of all, they make each other anxious because they're not commensurate. They're not commensurate goals. And if this is the structure that regulates emotion, well, what's going to happen? Well, you can't just give up your damn plans, because then your emotions are dysregulated. You fall into chaos, so to speak. You don't know where you are, and you don't know who you are, you don't know what to do, and you don't know where you're going. And that makes you anxious. Neither side is going to give up their certainty. Well, the only thing left then under those circumstances is conflict. And you see this. I mean, look, how do arguments escalate? An argument with someone that you love, even, they want one thing, you want another. You discuss it, you're not getting anywhere. Your tempers raise because the abstract discussion isn't helping. Finally, you give up. Maybe you move to violence to solve your problem, to hammer out the story, so to speak. You can do that by oppressing the person who has a different viewpoint.